Hey guys, I'm Emma and I'm telling you like it is, with a paintbrush of sarcasm and a whole paint can worth of exaggeration. So if you like this video, please take 5 seconds to subscribe, because 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 views equals to me starting to make money on YouTube, which would be nice. So, arts and crafts, literally the bane of my existence. Why they have mandatory art classes in school, I do not know. To deter us from learning and education in general and make us fail over and over and over and over and over. Anyways, I digress. If you love my insane rants and my inane comments, like this video or let me know below. So, 13 reasons why everyone should hate arts and crafts. 1. Other people make it look so easy. This is so true. They whip out a pen, draw for 5 minutes, and bam, they've created a human. Like, what happened? And then they have the nerve of calling that a doodle? Are you kidding me? Do you want to see one of my doodles? Huh? Yours is a human. Mine is a half-formed alien that's desperately trying to pass as a human. And the more I work on it, the worse it gets. Trust me. 2. The prices. Why are all these supplies so expensive? A pack of paper is $15? A bit of yarn costs an arm and a leg? Look, the pattern for that sweater comes with 2 sleeves. What do I do if you've requested one of these arms for payment? Now, I'm not expecting crafting stuff to come for free, but I wouldn't mind if it was close to free, because if we're being frank, I will most likely screw it up and not end up with anything worth showing anyways, after I've done the craft part of the arts and crafts. And nothing I've ever made could be considered art, let me tell you. I guess I'm kind of a realist, but I guess I'd be a total realist though if I just stopped trying to do crafts, because I just know the results won't be good. Moving on before this gets too depressing. 3. Assumptions. Look, I don't know who makes the instructions for some of these crafts, but honestly, they should run them by me first. Let's explore this by project type, shall we? 1. Paint by number. You're giving me the worst paintbrush known to mankind to delicately paint in a crack the size of my pinky nail? Are you kidding me? 2. Embroidery kits. Can't you just label the floss for me? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not colorblind, but there is no obvious difference between light blue and sky blue. They're just different blues, and I've got no clue which one you actually intend me to use. Also, is it so hard to mention how many strands to use at once? Look, I started this craft for enjoyment, not to have a mini anxiety attack as I determine whether or not I will have enough floss to even finish this project. Now, is this one sky blue? 3. Knitting. Why are the instructions so much more complicated than what's on paper? I swear, if you make a pattern, you should have an accompanying video with how the pattern changes step by step, and how you do each one of these stitches, for my sanity's sake. Because everyone seems to have their own version of how to do these stitches, and I just want to figure out how yours works, okay? I know that there are a lot of crafts out there, but I won't start complaining about each and every single one of them. Or constructive criticize, however you want to see all of this. Like, we're not going to go into the issues with photography and how cameras were designed by savants, for savants. At least not plunge deeper than I just did. 4. Straight anything. For one thing, what's wrong with not being straight, huh? But also, why do you assume I can do straight anything? Cut straight, write straight, do this thing and it'll be just straightforward. Because often enough, I'm just honestly trying to do the craft and I feel like I'm drowning. Look, it also comes down to I can't even draw a straight line with a ruler on lined paper. Yes, I know I have issues. Yes, I pride myself on being unconventional, but for once I wish one of my artistic endeavors didn't end in disaster. Please. 5. Pens that bleed. This is where I 1000% get people who are left-handed. We've had pens for what, at least a century now? Why can't ink just be absorbed by paper as soon as it touches it? I understand that a right-handed person like me shouldn't have this problem and shouldn't have ink all over their hands, but still, we're in the era of accepting minorities. What about accepting people who easily stain their hands, huh? They have rights too. Or at least they should. Hey, you know I'm right. 6. Art classes. And we are back to this. Look, I get that languages, geography, history, other classes from high school that I haven't attended in a while are important. But when it comes to creative expression, why are schools forcing some kids to fail over and over again in arts classes? Think of me, a model student, doing well in most classes and then barely scraping by in arts classes. I think I nearly failed a couple of times. Maybe my grade got boosted a couple of times. Anyway, thank God my high school started offering music classes, or it could have really shattered my self confidence. And then I would have never had the nerve to come up with my own YouTube channel, and then you would have never heard this voice. And that would have been a shame, right? Right? Well, I'll pretend I heard words to boost my A-OK self-deprecating ego. 7. Glue. Okay, I thought the principle of glue was that it would stick together thing A to thing B, A and B being of my choosing. Why instead does glue decide to stick to my fingers? Or to let A unstick from B? Or to stick A to B but cause ugly residue on A and or on B? Why is gluing so difficult? And I don't care what type of glue it is, it just never seems to work out for me. And then it gets on my scissors, on me, on my clothes, on the entire surface of the world. Look, I once saw a video about 20 crafts that you can make with a glue gun. My version of that, if I were to create that version, 20 ways to lose your fingers, your toes, and your sanity. Just saying. 8. Projects you can't finish in a lifetime. Just going to point this out, a lot of the projects out there will either A, make you give up halfway before the point of completion, or B, take a century and a half to complete. Considering that most humans die before age 150, well, there's no way you'll complete that one project in time, so yeah. 9. Paper that rips. Those pads of construction paper we all grew up with, that you have to tear out the paper from the pad, why can't they come out straight? Like without tears or looking butt ugly? Again, not that there's any issue with not being straight or being butt ugly in general, but you know what I'm talking about. My goal was to actually use that paper, thank you very much. And if I try to cut it straight, well, we've already gone over this. I can't. Suffering for your art when doing even just basic arts and crafts is no joke. For me. Seriously. 10. Paper mache. Okay. There are different reasons why I hate this form of art that seems to be some kind of enforced rite of passage in schools everywhere. Here are some of them. 1. Balloons are an abomination. Not only am I allergic to them, but they are ticking time bombs and static weapons and turtle killers. That's seriously bad. 2. The glue to make paper mache is the ickiest, vilest liquid known to mankind. And you know I'm right. 3. It's just impossible to tell how many coats you've put on and how many coats you have left to put on. It just quickly disintegrates into this slobbery mess. Plus 2, you only find out if you've done enough layers after you've gotten rid of the mold. And to replicate those results or adjust it, I guess you just have to guess. So yeah, if I wasn't clear enough earlier, I hate paper mache. 11. Glitter that goes everywhere. Look, glitter is pretty. On clothes, when it stays on the fabric. In hair, when it's in the gel. In jewels as they hit the sun, because I can only dream of owning real ones. But like glitter in arts and crafts, that's just a disaster. And it's not even waiting to happen, it'll just fall on its own because it just wants to piss you off. Now, I have friends who worked at a decoration store around Christmas time. 'Tis the season of glitter, I guess. Now, one of my friends swears that when he got home, he managed to shower all of that glitter off him. But later, he accidentally cut himself with a knife, and he found glitter in his blood. Proof positive that that stuff gets everywhere. And on the topic of things getting everywhere, 12. The mess. Bits of paper all over the table and floor, a small ball of yarn that wasn't used, scraps of material. Just about every craft I know leads to unused bits that could potentially still be used. And every crafter I know has at least one part of their home taken over by crafting odds and ends. It can range from borderline tidy to yarn impossibly twined everywhere. It can also be haunted by the unfinished projects of motivated days past. Who knows? Until you dig deep enough. 13. The perfectionism plague. Why plague? Because it plagues crafters at very different levels. Let's start from the bottom. 1. No skill. Don't worry, that's where I fall. It's just no fun. And you're just never capable of doing the things that look so cool and everybody else makes look so easy. It's just so disappointing. Especially if you're a perfectionist by nature. 2. Some skill. Look, I know from hearing some of you talk that most of you aren't ever satisfied with any artwork you make anyway. So what's the point of having talent if you can't even enjoy it? Now, I can and do enjoy other people's art, but that hardly seems fair. Wait, why do I care again? Well, I guess I do actually care about others deep down. Now, I do hate arts and crafts, but I guess I also love them too. I will one day have a pair of knitted socks to my name made by my own 2 hands. So I guess I hate being forced to do them or being judged through them, which in a way makes a lot of sense. If you love my sometimes logical conclusions and my always strong-minded opinions, subscribe to my perfection of a channel, and tell me below what type of arts and crafts do you just suck at, no matter how hard you try. Thanks, guys.